Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future mumrads. I'm Littlefinger, and today we are doing a full tank review on the VK 3001H, which is a Tier 5 German heavy tank. This video will be going up just a day or two after Christmas, so want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Hopefully Santa brings you all of the premium tanks your heart can desire. So, about the VK 3001H. Well, it is a heavy that, in my opinion, doesn't play like a heavy. More of a heavy medium. The armor is nowhere near as good as that on the T1, BDR, KV. And so you're not going to bounce as many shots, although I do find that you do get some uncharacteristic bounces in this tank. Obviously, being German, the gun is amazing, and that's what sets this tank apart, in my opinion. But let's take a quick look at the tech tree and just show you how you've gotten here. You've worked your way up to from the PZ4D to the PZ4, and you made that choice to go down this line, which will take you to the Tiger 1, Tiger 2, E75, and E100. All of these really good tanks, and I'm anxious to take the Tiger 1 back out. I did sell it, so I'll rebuy it just because it got a buff in this latest update. So, as with a lot of the Tier 7 heavies. So, great line of tanks. E75, in my opinion, is one of the best Tier 9 tanks. E100 is a bunch of fun to play. So, what a great line. Let's take a look at some of these upgrades. This is a mess of upgrades. What to say about this, but basically you will want to work your way up to the 7555 0725 gun. We do about 160 hit point damage with this per shot, and the penetration number there of 157 is just through the chart. So for a Tier 5 heavy, and we'll show that in a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of guns on here, but hopefully a lot of those are already researched in previous tanks that you've owned, and so it's not as arduous to get to this gun as it may seem here. Looking at consumable setup, I'm running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions running chocolate, protective kit, and improved fuel. Ammunition about 2-to-1 here. And you can see I've left room. I could even run 33 rounds of AP and 12 rounds of APCR. Really rarely need the APCR, but it's worthwhile to carry it with you. And don't forget, you can change that to credits with pushing the shell price button there. So, looking at equipment, I am running the gun rammer. As I said before, the penetration numbers on this tank are really good. So, I mean, yeah, 165 millimeters of pen on the AP would be outstanding, but 150 is really good too. So, gun rammer, get our rate of fire up a little bit, close to 10 rounds per minute. That's 1600 DPM. I am not running improved modules on this tank. I'm not too concerned about damage from ramming. And now that they've changed the defense system to cover engine damage, crew injury, and ammo rack, I am running the defense system. And then specialization really just depends on what type of tank you're running now. Since they have changed the camouflage net, we only get 3% when the vehicle is moving, 6% when it's stationary, which is not going to be too often. So we're going to run improved optics. Again, Tier 5, would not spend spare parts on level 2. I would go with the supercharge, increase your shell velocity, and penetration decrease with distance. So just because the the gun, once we're getting up here under 4 seconds for aiming time, it's really good, and you'll see that when we compare it to the other heavies. Probably run with enhanced armor over improved assembly, and I would run. Yeah, this is kind of a toss-up to me. I'd run the Traverse, get an extra 3 degrees. It's probably one of the things it does lack is its turning movement. And vertical stabilizer I would run over the refined gun. Getting that dispersion down to 0.28 is amazing. But I don't know if you can really tell the difference at 0.3 or 0.28. So like to get that aim time down. And then really just a toss-up for me on enhanced tracks or toolbox. I've been running enhanced tracks on any of the tanks that I've equipped this far. And consumable delivery system over high-end consumables. Alright guys, here is blitzstars.com using tank compare section. Pulled up the VK3001H on the left and the rest of the non-premium Tier 5 heavies, T1, KV1, BDR, and Churchill. And I am showing these without equipment. You can see there DPM 1452. If we do the gun rammer, we get that to 1561, so just shy of 1600. But for comparison purposes, we're going to look at these all without equipment. So DPM, like I said, 1452 without equipment is on the low side. Obviously the Churchill there has the highest, and we are just behind the T1 and KV1. Where this gun stands out from a firepower perspective is penetration, 157. You can see that's far and away better than any of the other heavies. Our alpha is 160, which is on the low side. Rate of fire 9.08. Caliber 75 millimeters, and the shell velocity stands out too at 1170, far and away. A faster shell is going to help you, especially on moving targets and shooting from a distance. So not too bad as it goes in the sense of firepower, but we move down to weapon handling, and there's a lot of red over there, meaning the VK is by far and away the best weapon handling tank. Aim time 1.9, dispersion 0.308, dispersion on movement 0.22. All of those are essentially best in class. Our gun depression is -8 degrees, which is certainly workable. So this is what makes this tank stand out. And then when we throw in the movement and mobility here, 35 kilometers per hour, it moves quite well. We have a very good or low terrain resistance, which gives us an effective horsepower per ton of 12.1. So this is why I kind of say I'd run this more like a heavium, combination of a heavy and a medium. It is not a true just sit in front and brawl, trade shots, hope to get more bounces than your opponent type of tank, because it's just not going to do that, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Credit coefficients, 120% is pretty nice. View range 253, we're top of class there. Hit points, close to the top there, 780. Not much difference really between all of the tanks. The difference really is here in the hull and turret armor, 50 and 80 millimeters, respectively. You look at some of those numbers where you're comparing it to the T1 at 83 versus 50, or the KV 110 versus 80. Yeah, it's just not going to be a tank that you're going to bounce. You can angle it, you can help your chances, but knowing that going into battle it is not a true heavy will certainly help you, especially when you look at these numbers here. And I think this is probably part of the reason for some confusion is people think, oh, I'm driving a heavy, I'm going to bounce shots. Not so much with this tank. So the win rate there is pretty low at 55%. Average damage is only 734. It's way below the rest of these other tanks, and the average kills isn't even 1. So there's room for improvement in these numbers if you know how to play this tank. So I'm going to pull up Armor Inspector and we'll just take a quick look at that. Alright guys, here we are with Armor Inspector pulled up. I've got the VK on the screen there, and the shooter right now is a Tier 4 M5 Stuart. You can see from the front there is 2 large green areas that are certainly easily penetrable by a Tier 4 tank. If we do angle, and you'll see here as we continue to angle further, we can pretty much make this tank effectively unpenetrable to an M5 Stuart. So we are angling at about 41 degrees here. If we angle too far, then the sides become yellow and then green. So I think rule of thumb I try to tell everybody is keep your gun aimed over the front corner and try to use that as a guide to how to angle. Now, what I was talking about, if we move this up to a Tier 5, and this again is a light tank, there is a lot of green here. So certainly anywhere from the front, if you can angle less than 20 degrees here. So imagine putting a building in front of you in the front of your tank, and you just back up, showing only the sides, angled pretty steeply, and then you push forward after you've taken your shot while you're reloading, side scraping essentially. Certainly also hold down works pretty well in this tank if you can hide all but your turret there. But like I said, the amount of green on this tank, even with a Tier 5 light tank, is quite a lot. Certainly when you get up into Tier 6, just about anywhere is penetrable, even if you are properly angling. So keep that in mind as you play this tank. I think that's probably one of the misconceptions about it being a heavy tank. Alright guys, first game, bottom tier, Mayan Ruins, Supremacy game, and keep in mind that the average 90-day average for this tank in damage was about 740, so keep that in mind as you're playing it, and obviously try to do better than that, and that'll help improve your win rate for sure. So our team is called C, and I was going to go B, and you can see there's the other VK. So their heavies have gone this way too. Their whole team has come together, and looks like we've got one guy going A. So I'm gonna pull up on to the rock bridge here and get a shot into the VK first, and then the AMX. I don't know how that didn't penetrate, and there's another one. So 2 frustrating shots there we didn't get any damage on. Our team has pushed too far, and I'm thinking at this point in time I want to go help, but I'm trying to do my best to stay protected, and really not a lot I can do on my own until if you look at the mini map, our guys regroup. So here comes Chaffee, and I'm just keeping an eye on the other team and where the weaker tanks are, because we want to get rid of guns really. So wanted to get a shot here on the M4 and turn around, go a little bit too wide and take a couple shots that I didn't really need to, but now we're down here with some of the lower health tanks, and we take out 2 tanks pretty quickly there. Not so much worried about Cap, so we're gonna go down here and get another shot in on the VK who's facing the wrong way. And you can see I'm kind of trying to angle, basically just trying to show my sides only when I pull forward, and the rest of my tank is angled. But like I said, a lot of these tanks are going to penetrate you, so just keep that in mind and play it a little bit more cautiously than you would a true heavy like a KV1 or T1 where you can just get out and brawl. Make sure you're using terrain to your advantage. And so you can see here that we stayed alive, which is obviously good. And we ended up doing 1,557 in damage, 2 kills. Good for a level 1 mastery badge. Top damage on the team, 13 shots there. A couple of them did 0 damage. We did the track on the AMX, and then I guess we must have damaged the track again. On the second shot, I did no damage. Alright, so second game here, bottom tier on mines. We are going to push up to the mine hill. This T1 is leading the charge, which is nice. But we run into a little bit of a jam here as the T-34 stopped. So I'm going to try to work my way around the T-34, but at the same time keep those rocks in front of me so that I'm not as bad of a target. And so we'll finish him off, and now we're kind of in a difficult situation. I'll pull forward here and take a big shot. Probably came from the SU-85. Big shot there from the KV-1. So we're down to 350 hit points. 212 now. We better retreat. We got a nice bounce there. And this PZ-54 just YOLO straight into us. And now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to keep the PZ in front of me and in between the KV. So I've got some protection here. I can pull forward, get my shot in, and back up. So teams worked pretty well. But you can see we got some fortunate bounces there at the end. Got some campers in here in the back that'll finish the T-34 off. I get spotted, so I'll just go ahead and drive back down and try to hug the left side of the line here, because we know that SU-85, he's still sitting there in the camping spot. So I just want to make it difficult for him to hit us. He could potentially finish us off with one shot, but it would have to be a good roll. He shoots. You can see a little bit low on that shot. 201. We're down to 11 hit points. Let's see if we can't sneak around here. Here he comes. So we're going to aim for the tracks. And he misses that shot. It's got to be a little frustrating, huh? And we'll get another shot in there. So 2 kills. We managed to survive barely. 1442 on the damage. Good for level 2 mastery badge. And still highest on the team there in damage and experience points. 10 shots. So this tank can certainly compete at tier 6. So how about one more as bottom tier, this time Port Bay. We've got 2 KV2s, a KV1, myself, a BDR. We are full of heavies, so pushing into port. And trying to stay wide. Let's keep some boxes in front of us here. And we bounce that shot off the KV-1. KV-2 sitting up on the hill here. from a distance, 200 meters. See how fast that shot gets in there, how accurate this is. See if we can't track him, which we do. Looks like he's looking at me, so I'm going to back up. Don't want to take that shot. Hoping our KV, one of our KVs can take him out. Here's a blind shot on the KV-1S. He gets one back at me. Yeah. Took some damage there. But you can see how I'm trying to weave in and out of these buildings. Use them a little bit for side scraping. Run into a little bit of trouble here. Kind of blocked by the 2 dead tanks. We'll just push this Leo out of the way. Probably should have gone right there. KV2 was well ahead of me. Another blind shot into the T-34-85. We'll come back here and try to help out this AT-8. Shot on the move, pretty accurate. Drop adrenaline. See if we can't get rid of the Leo. KV2 obviously goes for the higher hit point tank, leaving me the Leo. And we've kind of just cleaned up. One more to go. Ooh, a nice juicy target for a KV2 here. We'll get a shot in. And then a 500 hit point roll for the KV2. So, even with some big heavies, big guns, we still did 1,266 damage. Good for level 2 mastery badge. Second on the team in damage. So, proving again that this tank can certainly hold its own. You see that 10 out of 10 shots. Alright, so let's take a look at a top tier game on Canal. Got a couple nice heavies here. I think probably plan is to head left. A20 there, he jumps the hill. See the nice accurate gun in action. And we get a bounce. There's another shot, light him on fire. And he is finished off. Don't ever sit on top of hills. Lesson learned. So now I'm doing a little bit cautious because I don't know where the rest of their tanks are. We've got 2 here in the middle. Trying to get around to that T-28 there. Take another bounce from the T-67. So they seem to be all around this hill. So I'm going to come around and see if we can't get a shot in or two. Another bounce, gets tracked. Repair that track. And there they are. So now I'm in a little bit of trouble here, so we'll back up, and you can see we are getting some nice bounces. Not really a smart move here on such a heavy tank. You don't want to ram a heavy tank. And so we kill the T-67 with a ram, and then the VK with another shot. And as we're pulling up the hill here, Wolverine decides he's going to try to cross the bridge. Yeah, really not a good idea. Come across the open like that. So we've got a guy that sat on a hill, a guy that tried to cross into the wide open bridge. Yeah, we probably got the dumb team as opponents this time. Here's a nice shot on the move. And here are our last 2 red tanks. This shot here kills the engine. And when we zoom back in, we see his engine is still dead, so he's not moving anywhere. Finish him off. So we got 3 shots into him as he tried to run away. And then I was hoping that PZ4 would drop down into the water there, but he does not, so I don't get a shot in on him. But we ended up with 4 kills. And we did 1,761 damage, which is good enough for a mastery badge. And keep in mind, I was in the middle of that fray, so I was doing a lot of spotting as well. So again, 10 shots. You can see there we did a good bit of spotting damage, so that helps with the mastery badge. Alright, I think this will be the last game we do on this review, and we are on Lost Temple as top tier. So only 2 games as top tier, but I think you can see from the shots that have been taken in this game, there's hardly any bouncing. Penetration on this tank is great. Aiming on this, and I will show you an amazing shot here in this game. About the accuracy of this gun. So anyway, back to the game here. T-34 has pushed crazy hard. Never a good idea. 193, we get a nice roll there, and I'm assuming Leo's gonna finish him off, which he does. So we'll continue up the steps. There's another Leo, and we only get a track shot in him. That's a little disappointing. Hetzer shot us. We'll return the favor there. And you can see I'm just backing up ever so slightly while I reload, pull forward, use that accurate gun to get these shots in. Headed towards Hetzer number 2, and he is finished off before I can even get there. This team is moving fast. So the rest of the guys must have gone down into the river area, so we'll push on in, see what we can see. M4's down below, no point chasing him. Leo's gonna be behind this building, so we'll see his rear, get a nice shot in there. T-67 up on the hill, sure, why not? Leo's trying to make a run for it. Not gonna happen. Again, we're taking our shots, we're pulling back. Looks like we've got a AFK player here. Give him a shot, give him a little love tap. 236 damage. Looks like our T-67 is on the run. Didn't get the gun depression down there, but I am going to line this shot up from 300 meters. Let's take a look at that again. Slow-mo. Between 2 rocks. 300 meters away. Nails him. That's just amazing. So anyway, Leo now looks like he is on the run too. He's gonna come around on this side. Can we be so lucky? Unfortunately, he drops off, so we're not gonna spot him until he's mid-river somewhere. So there he is, and we shoot, but we are just a fraction too late. But I felt like that was just an amazing shot at 300 meters on a moving T-67. So I really enjoy this tank. I think it drives very well. You just have to be cautious of the fact that the armor is not great, but the gun is totally worth it. So I hope you guys learned a few tricks to help you be more successful in this tank. And remember, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.